Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video, I would like to show you Orange Shall Overcome. So this is a co-op game for 1 to 5 players. We got this game during this year's Essen Spiel. So the game is set in a period of World War II when Dutch decided to resist the occupiers, the Nazis, and to fight with them. So the best, and not the best, the great part of the game is that it's very thematic, because in the game we are going to meet the real people that were fighting in this time, and the families had to agree to include them in the game. So it's if you are into history or you value this aspects, I think this can be very important part of this game. Also, the game is produced in a very ecological way. I must say it was amazing to unwrap cards from paper shrinks and not from plastic. So all those small details are also very important for me. But the game is played on a board of the city with different locations, with patrols and outposts that you need to overcome and fight the Nazis, obviously. So in this video I am going to show you a little bit of the components, and I will tell you more or less how the game flows. So if you are interested in this title, just check out the rest of this video. So as I said, Dutch Resistance, Orange Shall Overcome. This is a co-op game for 1 to 5 players, and now I will tell you more about components and flow of the game. So the game this is a co-op, and the game uses scenarios. In a game you are going to get 5 scenarios. Those scenarios are on those big sheets. We have 5 of them, and on both sides we have information. So we have some of the setup and special conditions, special rules for each of the scenarios. So each of them is completely different, a little bit like in this War of Mine, for example. So what is the flow? How the game works? How the flow looks like in Dutch Resistance? So first of all, we have this gigantic board of the city, and on the map we have those locations. This is not a particular any kind of setup. I mean, it's based on the first scenario, but it's already changed a little bit because I want to show you more of the components. So first of all, we have those locations, and those locations have this on the bottom of those locations we have those tracks. Those tracks represents safety of the location, and obviously if the safety goes to the 0, we are going to confront a right of the occupant, because obviously when something feels and looks a little bit too suspicious for the occupant, they are going to write and check the spot. So here we have locations. Also on the map we have those streets, like here and here and here. Those streets connect different locations, like as you can see over here. You can move from this location to this location because we have street, from this location to this location because we have street. And some streets can be safe, so they are empty, but some of them can be occupied, let's say, or patrolled by different type of NPCs. So we can have policemen and we have soldiers. Obviously soldier is the worst option. Policemen are a little bit, let's say, friendly to our resistance. What do we have also on the board? Basically that's it. So we have locations, those NPCs, and our players. So we are using blue and purple, this one. Depending on the scenario, we obviously can have different things on the board, but in here we have only those 2 things. On the right hand side we have this track with those symbols, and this track represents our morale. So the higher morale, the more extra actions you can spend in one round of the game. But this is the thing, those actions are shared by all players. So not only, I mean, all players can perform their own actions that are on their cards. I will tell about them in a moment. But there's also this shared pool of actions that each of the players can use. Obviously, each action can be used only once, so maximum 5 of them can be unlocked. On the bottom, we have different elements, and Ausweis. I think this is how you read it. So those are the, let's say, tickets that allows you to move through the streets, move on the streets, and you don't have to go through those checkpoints. So you can just pass by, and no one gonna check your bags and your belongings. In this game, basically, you're not going to draw an event card, and you don't have to make a decision. Another thing is a ticket. The ticket you can get on a station, and ticket allows you to move to a completely different part of the city, skipping all the streets. You're just spawning from one space to another, and that's it. And I didn't say this one, but on the other side of those also tickets and those Ausweis, you have extra effects. So not only are you going to use this effect of the card, after using it, you need to flip it and check what is on the other side and go with the text. Same goes with the tickets. Tickets also get some effects on the other side of the cards. And another element are those two stacks cards over here. I think those card collaborants. And in here you have names and a little bit of flavor text and actions that you can perform when you are going to use those collaborators. You only can use those visible at the top of the stacks. So this is all what you can choose from. Next thing are those cards in here. Those are, let's say, event cards. Basically, every time you're going when you are meeting a policeman or soldier, you need to take a card. I'm going to show you only one, so I hope it's not going to be super spoiler-rich. This is not going to be super spoiler for you. So basically how it works, you always need to read this part where there is a flavor text and two options, what you can do, how you can react for this occasion. Obviously this text should be read by the other player, not by yourself. When the player chooses whether they want to collaborate or refuse in this example, you need to read right part of the card, and depending on whether you met policeman or a soldier, different outcomes going to be performed. So this is all up to the active player, what is going to happen, and the reader, the person who is reading the halt card, they cannot interfere. Another thing are those three cards in here. As I already told you, when this safety track reaches 0, you are going to take a right card and different effects are going to happen. So this is like negative, always negative event. Unsafe resistance, surrounded, intense activity, enhanced authority, and so on and so on. So like all those negative things that can happen are here. These obviously are going to influence your board in different ways. And finally we have this deck of cards with Occupier. So now we are going to the mechanics of the game, but firstly maybe I will also show you the player board, because we have a spot for your identity. This is also a very cool element, because all those identities, all those people that are included in this game are real. They lived in this period of time, and I think also they were part of the Dutch resistance. So, and this is a very cool element. So in here you have information of the route overview, all possible actions, your alibi track, and spots for your resources. So how the game flows. Let's start with round overview. So the game is split into two periods, day period and night period. In day period, each player takes their 3 character cards and 1 occupier card, so this one that I mentioned. And then reset morale action tokens. So those morale in here, if you... oh yeah, obviously. The higher this token is, the more morale tokens is available to you. So if it's over here, on any of those spots, you can use all of those tokens. If it's, for example, here, only this one is available. So we have like those levels of morale. And after that, there's action phase. So in action phase, each player is going to perform actions as written on their action, on their character cards, and also they need, at the end, they need to activate occupier card. So Each identity comes with 3 cards specific for that identity, and on those cards you have information what kind of actions you can perform. So this orange symbol is just basically an icon for one action point that you can spend, and you can activate those cards in a different way. So if there is an AND symbol, you can activate this and also the bottom of the card. If there is an OR, you can activate this or this, and same goes with here. Always with this manner, so from top to bottom, from left to right. After activation of those 3 actions in whatever combination you wish, and potentially using any of those tokens from the morale track, you need to activate your occupier card, and those cards are kept hidden from other players. This is a burden that each player must overcome by themselves. Overcome. They need to choose one of those effects, negative effects, and apply them to the board. So, and in here we have 24 or 25 cards, something like this, and you are going to get one of those cards. Each player is going to get one of these cards at the beginning of each round. So in here you have different negative effects, like losing morale, losing resources, losing safety, decreasing safety of a location, like increasing the danger of one of the streets by adding one of the policemen or soldier tokens. In here you need to decrease safety of 4 different locations. This symbol means that this is a city location, but you need to roll a die to determine which location is it, because each location, for example, in here we have 5, so cafe is number 5. If you would roll 5, that we would have to decrease by 1, safety in cafe. And the map is split into 2 sections, city and rural part. So that's why we have this green symbol in here. The 3 locations must be in the city and 1 location must be in this rural part. And this symbol means that you need to reduce your alibi and so on and so on. So all those negative effects, you cannot consult those results with other players. You need to decide on your own. So this is an occupier, and after each activation of each player, this occupier card must be resolved. After each of the players completed their turn, we are going to the night phase. So night phase is split into 2 phases, and the first phase it's a danger phase, so lower safety based on a scenario rules and your own alibi and resources. So I'm not going to go through the rules of the scenarios, I'm just going to tell you more about these basic actions. So depending on your alibi, so for example you are here, this determines by how many points the safety of the location where you are staying for the night is reduced, decreased. So if I would stay in this cafe, and my alibi was 4, I would have to decrease safety of cafe by 2. But also you need to have in mind how many resources you have, because the more resources you have, the more safety points you need to remove from this specific location where you're staying for the night. So your goal is to have at the end of the night the least resources possible and the highest alibi possible, because this is the only way to be more or less safe in this occupied city. After the night phase, after this reduction of the safety of the location, you need to perform a patrol phase. Resolve the top patrol card. First player pass the first player marker. So patrol cards are in here, and the top card tells us which neighborhood is going to be activated. So in this example is going to be the blue one, and that means that all the patrols, all the soldiers and policemen on the streets with this blue symbol are going to be activated. So you need to take a card, patrol blue. So this is also another negative effect. You need to decrease, for example, morale by 1, and also you need to roll a die to decrease by 1 safety of one of the city locations, and then all occupiers in the region move by 1 following the black arrow. So those posts, like in here, and I mean every single, and in here we have those symbols black and white. So if I would activate this guy, and according to this card, he should move by 1 through this black line, I should move him to F, so he's going here. But this is another element important. Every policeman and every soldier that passes through location also decreases its safety. So policeman decreases safety by 1, soldiers decreases safety by 2. If you are over there, your alibi is also decreased accordingly by 1 and by 2. And after that, you're going back to the day period and everything starts from the beginning. Now, what kind of actions you can perform? So this is very easy. Move, so you can move by 1 or by 2. Spend a ticket to move to a location of choice and resolve the card's backside. I already told you that. Location action, so if you are in a specific location, you can perform some kind of action. So for example, in hairdresser, you can spend one food, I think, to get 6 alibi. In here you can spend, I don't remember the right names of those resources, let's say maps or information. In here you can spend 1 information to get 1 Ausweis and 1 morale up. In here you have oh no, this is information. I don't remember what is the map, so let's stick with the map. In here you can spend information and map to let's say upgrade one of the tokens of the patrol. So if you are going to upgrade policeman, you're just basically taking him from the board. If you're upgrading soldier, you're flipping him to the policeman's side. So this is the upgrade. Then you can increase safety of one of the locations by 3 and morale goes by 3. And so on and so on. So different locations that grants you different actions, resources, or the possibility to trade those resources for different effects. And this is another thing. So the location actions, then only in your turn use a character card special ability. So this is basically the bottom. This is the special ability. I already told you that. Another thing is roll 1 die and raise your location safety by the number rolled. So if you are staying in location, you're just rolling a die, and depending on the result, by this number you can increase safety of this location. Then you can gain information, and you're just gaining this token and that's it. So you're like talking with people in this specific location to gather information, but because of that, the safety of this location is decreased by 1. And scenario actions, those are specific actions that are assigned to the scenario. And obviously at the end, if you are with other players in the same location, you can trade tokens. So this is flow of the game. We are going to perform all those actions again and again. And depending on the number of the players, the games is the length of the game can vary. So from 12 turns for 2 players, I think 5 turns for 5 players. So if I would like to show you, for example, how the game more or less works, if I am, for example, in this location and I want to move to the station, I have to spend some symbols of those orange symbols from my cards and extra from those here if I wish to. So my basic action allows me to move from 1 to 2 locations. So I'm moving 1 and then I'm going to here. So I've spent 1 action and 2 second action, but to get there, I had to go through this post with this policeman. So other player is taking the card, reads this part. I have to decide collaborate, refuse, and accordingly I would get this result or this result, and depending on my choice. If I am over there, I can decide to spend money and decrease the safety of this location by 1 to get 2 tickets, and so on and so on. We are performing all those actions to complete the goal of the scenario. And those goals are completely different depending on the scenario. So for example, in the first scenario, most of the locations are like this one, covered, so we have this black and white up. And to activate this location, to add it to your network of resistance, you need to pay the cost. So you need to come here with those resources to pay them, and after that you can flip it and add it to the board. Then this location is activated. And basically this is it. So co-op game set in this World II periods. We love that the game is so thematic. We have those real characters. Not only we have their names and age and so on, but on the other side we also have a little bit of the bio, and I believe those are the real things, because what we can read in a real book, families of those people had to agree to include them in the game. So this is it. If you are into this kind of titles, maybe Orange Shall Overcome will be something that you want to have in your collection. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.